The large alien ship hung in the sky above Earth. It looked like a giant crystal catching the sun's light. Inside this ship, an alien named Zillith waited nervously. Zillith had 6 arms and eyes that looked like they were made of many small parts put together. The alien had traveled a very long way with an important message. On Earth, people from all countries met at the United Nations building. They had been told that aliens wanted to talk to humans for the first time ever. Each country sent their smartest people, scientists, leaders, and military experts. Jack Miller stood quietly among them. He used to be a Marine, but now he worked as a diplomat. His face showed no emotion as he watched the large screen where the alien would appear. When Zillith's image appeared on the screen, many people gasped. No one on Earth had ever seen a real alien before. Some looked scared, others excited. People of Earth, Zillith began, speaking through a machine that changed alien words to human words. We come from the Galactic Council. We represent many peaceful species from across the stars. Jack noticed something important right away. The alien's voice shook slightly. Its many arms moved in quick, nervous patterns. Jack had seen this kind of behavior before in his military days. This was what fear looked like. We need your help, Zillith continued. An enemy called the Vorax is attacking worlds at the edge of our galaxy. They destroy everything they touch. Many planets have already been lost. The room filled with questions. Why us? What can we do? How dangerous are these Vorax? Jack raised his hand, and the room grew quiet. Ambassador Zillith, he said calmly, you have ships that can travel between stars. You clearly have technology far beyond ours. Why would you need humans to help you? The alien paused before answering. Its many eyes blinked in a wave-like pattern. Your question is wise, Zillith said finally. The truth is that most species in our council evolved on peaceful worlds. We developed technology and art. We learned to work together. But we never needed to fight. Jack understood immediately. And humans did. Yes. Your world is what we call the Death World. Your gravity is strong. Your weather is extreme. Your planet has thousands of diseases and dangerous animals. To survive here, you had to become fighters. The room grew very quiet. Everyone realized what the aliens really wanted. They didn't just want help. They wanted soldiers. We have studied your history, Zillith continued. You have fought many wars. You have killed each other over land, beliefs, and resources. This saddens us, but it may now save the galaxy. A woman scientist near Jack whispered, They're afraid of us, but they need us. Jack nodded. He looked around the room at the other humans. Some looked proud. Others looked worried. Being called natural fighters was not exactly a compliment. We offer to share our technology with Earth, Zillith said. We will help you build ships that can travel between stars. In return, we ask you to help us fight the Vorax. Jack stepped forward. Ambassador, we will need to discuss your offer, but I must ask, how long do we have before these Vorax reach our part of space? Zillith's translator made a sound like a sigh. Without your help, perhaps 5 of your Earth years. With your help, we might have a chance to stop them forever. As the meeting ended, Jack knew that humanity had just changed forever. The stars were now open to them, but the price would be blood. 1 week after the first meeting, the aliens invited a small group of humans to visit their ship. Dr. Olivia Ward packed her bags with excitement. As a scientist who studied animal life, she never imagined she would get to study alien life. The group included 20 humans, 5 scientists, 10 military experts, and 5 government leaders. Jack Miller was chosen to lead them because of his calm questions at the first meeting. When they stepped onto the alien ship, Dr. Ward noticed something strange right away. The aliens kept their distance from the humans. When Jack reached out to shake hands with Zillith, the alien moved back quickly. Did you see that? Olivia whispered to Jack as they were shown to their rooms. They're afraid to touch us. Jack nodded. I've been watching them. They jump when we move too fast. They keep special air filters between us and them. Something isn't right. Their rooms were beautiful but strange. The beds looked like bowls filled with soft gel. The lights changed color based on how they felt. Everything was designed for comfort, not for fighting. The next day, all the humans were invited to a large round room. In the center floated a map of the galaxy, showing thousands of stars as small dots of light. Many of the dots were bright and blue, but almost a third of them were dark and red. A new alien floated into the room. This one had no solid body at all. It looked like colored smoke inside a clear ball that floated in the air. "I am Krell," the floating alien said through the translator. "I represent the oldest species in the council. We have watched the stars for 50,000 years." Krell moved a smoky limb, and the map zoomed in on the red dots. "These are the worlds taken by the Vorax. Once they were full of life. Now they are empty rocks." Colonel Lisa Garcia, a tough military leader with short gray hair, stepped forward. "How many ships do you have fighting them? How many soldiers?" The aliens looked at each other with their many strange eyes. "We have no soldiers," Krell said finally. "Most advanced species stopped fighting long ago. War became unnecessary." Now the humans looked at each other with surprise. "Let me understand," Jack said slowly. "In this entire galaxy, with thousands of intelligent species, none of you know how to fight a war." "We know how," Zilith said. "We have studied war. We just have no practice. Our bodies did not evolve for combat. Our minds are not made for violence." Dr. Ward suddenly understood. "It's about where you evolved, isn't it? Your home planets." "Yes," Zilith seemed relieved that she understood. "Most intelligent life evolves on what we call garden worlds, places with mild weather, few large predators, and plenty of food. Places where cooperation works better than fighting. But Earth isn't like that," Olivia said. "No," Krell's smoke swirled faster. "Your world would kill most of us in minutes. Your gravity would crush our bodies. Your oxygen would burn our lungs. Your bacteria would eat us alive. And that's just your planet." Jack crossed his arms. "What do you mean by just our planet?" Zilith's voice grew quieter through the translator. "You humans are also dangerous. Your bodies contain metals that poison most life forms. Your strength is 5 times what it should be for your size. You can survive injuries that would kill us. You can go days without sleep. You eat plants and animals that would be deadly poison to us." Now the humans understood the full truth. The galaxy wasn't looking for allies. They were looking for monsters who could fight other monsters. "So," Jack said finally, "you don't just need our fighting spirit. You need our physical abilities too." "Yes," said Krell. "The galaxy needs Deathworlders." The news spread quickly when the human delegation returned to Earth. Aliens needed help, and they believed humans were natural warriors. Countries around the world began selecting their best people to join what they called the Terran Defense Initiative. Steve Russell, a Navy captain with 15 years of experience, was chosen to lead the first human ship. The aliens gave Earth the technology to build 10 space vessels in just 6 months. The first and largest was given to Steve. "This ship is amazing," Steve said as he walked through the long corridors with his new crew. "It can travel faster than light. It can hide from sensors. But the aliens built it with no weapons at all." Kate Williams, his weapons officer, laughed at this. She had short red hair and quick eyes that missed nothing. "No weapons? What did they expect to do if they met the Vorax? Ask nicely for them to stop eating planets." "That's exactly what they tried first," Steve said. "And it didn't work." Alan Patel, the ship's engineer, spent days studying the alien technology. He was young but brilliant, with steady hands and a mind that could solve any problem. "Captain," he reported, "I think we can add Earth weapons to this ship. The power systems here are strong enough to handle our biggest lasers and more." The aliens watched with wide eyes as humans transformed their peaceful exploration vessel into something new, a warship. When Kate suggested adding shields and armor, the alien observers seemed confused. "Why would you need protection?" one asked. "If you meet another ship, you would simply communicate with them." Kate tried to explain. "What if they don't want to talk? What if they attack first?" The concept seemed to make the alien feel sick. Its skin changed from blue to gray. "That would be uncivilized," it said. "The Voraks are not civilized," Steve reminded them. "That's why you came to us. The hardest part wasn't building the ships or adding weapons. The hardest part was teaching the aliens how to defend themselves. Most had never even thought about fighting before." Alan found himself teaching a group of jellyfish-like aliens how to operate simple defense systems. "If something comes at you fast," he explained patiently, "don't try to talk to it. Move out of the way and then fire back." The alien's clear body pulsed with confusion. "But why would we not first attempt peaceful communication?" "Because," Alan sighed, "by the time you finish your greeting, you might be dead." Day after day, humans worked with different alien species. Some learned faster than others. The bird-like avians understood the concept of territory and protecting it. The rock-like granites could stand their ground, but had trouble with quick movements. After 3 months of training, Steve called his officers together. "We're making progress," he said, "but it's too slow. The Voraks are still destroying worlds while we're teaching basics." "What do you suggest, Captain?" Kate asked. "We need to show them, not tell them," Steve decided. "It's time for us to go hunting. We'll take our ship and a few alien volunteers to the edge of Voraks territory. Let them see how humans fight." The alien observers were horrified by this plan. "You cannot go looking for the Voraks," Xylith warned. "They will destroy you." Steve smiled for the first time in weeks. "Maybe," he said, "or maybe they're about to learn what happens when you threaten a planet of Deathworlders." 2 days later, the first human warship left Earth's orbit. Its name, painted in large letters on the hull, was simple but clear: Defender. The Defender moved silently through the darkness of space. For 3 weeks, they traveled to the edge of Voraks territory. The alien volunteers on board watched the humans with growing curiosity. "Why do you exercise every day?" asked a tall, thin alien named Murax. "The ship moves for you. You need not be strong." Kate Williams was lifting weights in the ship's gym. "Bodies get weak in space," she explained between breaths. "And weak bodies make weak fighters." Murax's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "You prepare your bodies for battle, even before knowing if battle will come." "Always be ready," Kate said. "That's how humans have survived so long." On the bridge, Captain Steve Russell studied the star maps. The last 3 planets destroyed by the Voraks made a clear line. He could guess where they would attack next. "Set course for the Elysium 9 colony," he ordered. "We should arrive before the Voraks if my guess is right." Alan Patel looked up from his screens. "Captain, Elysium 9 has 50,000 colonists. If we're wrong about the timing, then we evacuate them," Steve said firmly. "But I don't think we're wrong." The Defender arrived at Elysium 9 2 days later. The colony was a beautiful blue planet with 3 small moons. The colonists were surprised to see a ship with humans on board. "We've never had visitors from Earth before," said the colony leader through the communication system. "What brings you so far from home?" "Danger," Steve replied simply. "We have reason to believe the Voraks may target your world next. We're here to help defend it or evacuate if necessary." The colonists, a mix of different peaceful alien species, had difficulty understanding the threat. They had lived for generations without war or violence. On the 3rd day of their watch, Alan's sensors began to flash. "Captain, something's coming out of light speed." The bridge crew turned to see a strange ship appear near the planet's largest moon. It was not what any of them expected. Instead of a dark, threatening vessel, it looked beautiful, like a spiral of crystal that caught the light of the nearest star and broke it into rainbows. "That's a Vorak ship?" Kate asked in surprise. "It looks peaceful." "Send a greeting," Steve ordered. "Let's see if they respond." The communication officer sent standard greeting messages in all known languages. The crystal ship moved closer but did not answer. "It's scanning the planet," Ellen reported. "Heavy energy readings. Wait, something's happening." Without warning, the beautiful spiral ship released a pulse of light toward the planet. Where the light touched, the surface began to change color. "What's happening?" Steve demanded. They're breaking down matter," one of the alien volunteers said in horror, "converting all life and minerals into energy they can absorb." "Defensive positions," Steve ordered. "Kate, target their central node. Alan, get the shields to maximum." The Defender moved between the Vorax ship and the planet. The crystal spiral turned its attention to them, sending a beam of light toward the ship. Where the light hit their shields, alarms blared. "Shields dropping," Alan shouted. "Whatever that beam is, it's eating through our defenses." "Fire main weapons," Steve commanded calmly. Kate didn't hesitate. The human-designed weapons fired, striking the center of the crystal spiral. For a moment, nothing happened. Then cracks appeared across the beautiful surface of the Vorax ship. Again, Steve ordered. The second blast hit the weakened spot. The crystal ship shattered into thousands of pieces that scattered across space. Silence fell on the bridge. Humans and aliens alike stared at the floating remains of their enemy. "We destroyed it," Mirax finally said. "Just like that." Steve turned to look at the alien. "Yes, and now they know we can fight back." As if to confirm his words, the ship's sensors began to light up again. More Vorax ships were coming. The real war had just begun. 3 months after the first battle at Elysium Mine, the war with the Vorax had spread across the galaxy. 10 more human ships had joined the Defender, each protecting different star systems. The aliens watched with amazement as the humans changed the course of the war. Dr. Olivia Ward stood before the Galactic Council, showing them pictures on a large screen. The room was filled with representatives from 100 different species. "This is a human brain," she explained, pointing to a colorful image. "See these areas in red? They are active when we sense danger. And these areas in blue control how we respond to threats." Elder Myrex, an ancient alien with skin like tree bark, leaned forward. "Why show us these pictures, Dr. Ward? We did not come to study human biology." "Actually, you did," Olivia said with a smile. "You need to understand why humans are winning battles that your people lost. It's not our weapons or ships. It's how our minds work." She changed the picture to show a human running. On Earth, early humans were not the strongest animals. We couldn't run as fast as our predators. We didn't have sharp claws or teeth, but we could do something special. We could keep running long after other animals got tired. The aliens murmured among themselves, not seeing the connection. "Humans are pursuit predators," Olivia continued. "When we want something, we don't give up. We keep going until we succeed. The Vorax have never faced an enemy that chases them before." New pictures appeared on the screen. Human ships following Vorax vessels across star systems, tracking them through asteroid fields, waiting patiently for days to ambush them. "Your species evolved for peace and cooperation," Olivia said. "That made you advanced and wise. But humans evolved for survival in a harsh world. That made us stubborn and creative in dangerous situations." Reports from across the galaxy proved her right. Human-led ships had a 70% better survival rate in battles. Planets with human defenders had stopped Vorax attacks that would have destroyed them before. But the most interesting change was happening among the alien allies. Some were beginning to show fighting skills they never knew they had. Kate Williams had been training a group of bird-like avians on the Defender. At first, they couldn't understand basic battle formations. Now they flew small fighter ships with growing skill, using their natural understanding of three-dimensional movement in space. "You're getting better," Kate told them after a practice run. "You're starting to think like warriors." The lead avian made a singing sound that was their version of laughter. "Not warriors. Protectors. We protect our nests on our homeworld. Now the galaxy is our nest. Alan Patel made similar progress with the engineering teams. The small, six-armed Mercurians could work quickly in tight spaces where humans couldn't fit. They learned to repair damage during battles, working even as the ship shook around them. "How do you stay calm?" one of them asked Alan during a particularly intense drill. "I focus on the problem, not the danger," Alan replied. "Fear is fine, but don't let it stop you from doing what needs to be done." Captain Steve Russell reported these changes to Earth during their regular communications. "It's like they're waking up," he told his superiors. These peaceful aliens had survival instincts all along. They just needed someone to show them how to use them. The Galactic Council began to see it too. Species that had relied on technology and comfort for thousands of years were remembering older, deeper parts of themselves, the parts that knew how to fight when threatened. "We may not be Deathworlders like you," Elder Myrex told Olivia after her presentation, "but perhaps we can learn to be survivors too." The tide of the war was turning, but the Vorax had noticed, and they were adapting too. Captain Steve Russell knew something was wrong when all the Vorax ships suddenly disappeared from their usual hunting grounds. For a week, no attacks were reported anywhere in the galaxy. "They're planning something," he told his crew on the Defender. "The Vorax aren't giving up. They're changing their strategy." Kate Williams studied the star maps carefully. "All our ships are spread out protecting different systems. What if they're gathering for one big attack instead of many small ones?" The answer came 3 days later. Emergency signals flashed across all communication channels. Over 300 Vorax ships had appeared near Jupiter in Earth's solar system. "They've figured out where we come from," Alan said, his voice tight with worry. "They're going after Earth directly." Steve immediately ordered the Defender to set course for home at maximum speed. Other human ships did the same, but they were scattered across the galaxy, and many would take days to reach Earth. Jack Miller stood in the United Nations building on Earth, looking at the projection of space around their planet. Only 40 ships were available to defend against the massive Vorax fleet. "We need to evacuate as many people as possible," someone suggested. General Lisa Garcia shook her head. "There's no time and nowhere to take them all. Earth has 8 billion people. We have to make our stand here." The Galactic Council sent messages offering to help, but their peaceful ships would be useless in battle. Then a surprising message arrived from Zilith. "We cannot fight like you," the alien said, "but many of us wish to come to Earth. We can take human soldiers into battle. We have 100 ships ready." With this unexpected help, the Defenders made their plans. Human soldiers boarded alien vessels, bringing weapons and battle strategies. Earth's military prepared ground defenses in case some Vorax made it to the surface. The battle began just beyond the orbit of Mars. The Vorax fleet moved forward in perfect formation, their crystal ships glinting in the sunlight. "Remember your training," Steve told the mixed crews as the human and allied ships spread out to meet them. "We may be outnumbered, but we have something they don't understand: the will to protect our home at any cost." The first day of fighting was brutal. 20 Defender ships were destroyed, but they took 40 Vorax vessels with them. The battle moved into the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, where humans used the space rocks as both weapons and hiding places. Kate Williams led a group of small fighters that darted between larger enemy ships, causing damage and then escaping before they could be caught. Alan Patel worked with teams that turned damaged ships into guided missiles, aiming them at the largest Vorax vessels. On the second day, the Vorax changed tactics. Instead of staying in formation, they split into smaller groups, trying to slip past the Defenders toward Earth. "They're learning," Steve told his crew. "They've watched how we fight, and they're adapting." The Defenders adapted too. Using Jupiter's strong gravity, they set traps that pulled unsuspecting Vorax ships off course. They used Earth's moon as a staging area, hiding ships on the dark side, and then launching surprise attacks. By the third day, both sides had taken heavy losses. Half the human fleet was destroyed or badly damaged. But the Vorax had lost over 200 ships, far more than they expected. The remaining Vorax ships suddenly pulled back, gathering near Saturn. For hours they stayed there, not moving. Then, without warning, they turned and accelerated away from the solar system, disappearing into the darkness of space. On the bridge of the damaged Defender, Steve watched them go. "They're retreating," he said quietly. "We did it." The cost had been high. Many good people had died defending Earth. But they had shown the Vorax something important, that humans would fight to their last breath to protect their home. And somewhere out in the galaxy, the Vorax were learning a hard lesson about what happens when you attack a planet of Deathworlders. 5 years passed since the great battle for Earth. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Jack Miller stood at the window of the new human embassy on the Galactic Council's main world. From here, he could see aliens of 100 different species moving through the beautiful crystal buildings. Many of them nodded respectfully as they passed humans, still enjoying the view. Olivia Ward asked as she joined him. She now led the biggest research center in the galaxy, studying how different species could learn from each other. "It's different than I expected," Jack admitted. "When we first met the aliens, I thought we would just fight their war and then go home. I never imagined this." What had happened was something remarkable. After the Vorax retreat, the peaceful species of the galaxy had not simply returned to their old ways. Instead, they had begun to change. In a large park nearby, Kate Williams was teaching a group of young aliens from 12 different species. They were learning not just fighting moves, but balance, awareness, and quick thinking. "It's not about violence," Kate often explained to worried alien parents. "It's about being ready for challenges. It's about being strong in both body and mind." The Galactic Council meeting hall had changed too. Once it had been a place where only the oldest and most peaceful species could speak. Now it included representatives from Earth and from species that had once been considered too primitive because they still had natural defenses. Zilith, now the head of the council, called the afternoon meeting to order. 5 years ago, we faced extinction. The Vorax threatened to consume all life as we knew it. We sought saviors, but what we found instead were teachers. The room fell silent as Zilith continued. "Humans showed us that peace is not simply the absence of conflict. True peace comes from strength, the strength to defend what matters when necessary." Around the galaxy, the changes were visible everywhere. Planets that had been entirely covered in cities now had wild spaces where people could experience nature's challenges. Species that had used machines for everything now valued physical activity. Children were raised to be both kind and strong. Alan Patel had helped create new types of ships, vessels that combined the best of human practical design with alien advanced technology. These ships explored the farthest reaches of the galaxy, ready for whatever they might find. "We didn't just teach them to fight," Alan told Steve Russell as they tested a new engine design. "We reminded them how to survive." Steve nodded thoughtfully. "And they taught us too. We've always been good at facing danger, but they've shown us how to build peace that lasts for thousands of years." The Vorax remained at the edges of known space, still dangerous but contained. Scout ships reported that they were changing too, becoming less aggressive when they realized that their targets could now defend themselves. One evening, as the 3 suns of the Council world set in beautiful colors, Jack attended a special ceremony. The Galactic Council was dedicating a new monument, a simple stone pillar with words in many languages. "What does it say?" asked a young alien child, pointing at the human writing. Jack smiled and read it aloud. "Peace through strength, wisdom through challenge, unity through diversity." "Is that what humans believe?" the child asked. "It's what we've learned together," Jack replied. The galaxy needed Deathworlders to fight a war, but what it really needed was the reminder that comfort and safety can make you weak if you forget where you came from. As stars appeared in the night sky, humans, and aliens gathered to share stories and plans for the future. The galaxy was still full of dangers and mysteries, but now its people were ready to face them, not just with advanced technology, but with the courage and resilience that all living things share when they remember their strength. The Deathworlders had not just saved the galaxy. They had helped it evolve.